If you're looking for a secure haven within the literary world, you found the perfect organization. Let's make magic together. Our space is specifically designed for African American authors who are passionate about their writings of films and books. It's a platform to stay informed about industry developments. And on Patreon, we'll share exclusive content, valuable resources, and engaging discussions and masterclasses on various subjects, ranging from film and publishing industry trends to wellness and business tips. So if you're ready to dive into this exciting community, become a member now. Welcome to our literary haven where creativity knows no bounds. Let's make magic together.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome everyone to another Sunday Craft Chat. I am your host today, Briana, and it's a coincidence that the person I'm interviewing today, her name is also Briana. So we already, greeted each other. You said you're doing good. So, for those who do not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an author. I am an actress, screenwriter, producer, motivational speaker, kind of all things creative, if you will. I've been writing since I was like 6 years old. Always had an interest in writing and telling stories. I went out to Georgia Southern University and actually majored in creative writing. So that was fun. And I published my first book, I believe it was in 2014. And since then, I've published 10 books. And I have a number of movies that I've written as well. I was also a staff writer on Lace, season 2, currently streaming on All Black. And yeah, just been plugging along in the writing world, the entertainment industry, if you will. And it's been great. And personally, I do have 3 boys. Listen, hold on, let me get everybody right. I got 4, one that's 14, one that's 12, one that's 4. And I know, right? Exactly. And I am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So,
okay, D9.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
an alpha woman. So
Okay. Well, hey, Sister Greek, I love you, girl.
Okay, so you're an actress, you're an author, you're a writer. So what made you want to be a creative? Like what led you to writing and telling a story?
Oh my gosh. I think it's always been in me, honestly, Brianna. Like I mentioned, I've been writing since I was 6, and I started as a reader. As most authors I know, familiar with a lot of authors, and it's kind of the same story, but I've always done a lot of reading, always. And my mom used to tell me when I got in trouble, she can't really take the TV or can't go outside and stuff. She had to just take my book. So that's all I did. I love to read. I've always been, devoured stories, immersed in stories. Like I'm telling my age here, but when we used to go to the mall, I would sit at like the Walden books and stuff, and just sit up there and just read. I've always loved reading. So, it's just been kind of the creativity bug, if you will. I just thought that, wow, it would be really cool if I could tell these stories and see my books on bookshelves along some of these other authors that I've always looked up to. So that's definitely, like I said, the writing has always been there, I believe. And then acting, I got bit by the acting bug. I remember in 7th grade. I remember that. I never saw myself as an actress. I've always been animated. Yeah, I like to run my mouth, that kind of stuff. But in 7th grade, I remember my teacher suggested that I go out for a play we were doing. And it was called The Trial of Goldilocks. I will definitely remember that. And I don't know. Since then, I was like, ooh, how fun is this? So I don't know. It's kind of like 2 sides of the same coin, if you will. I'm able to tell stories either through my performance, if I'm acting or if I'm in front of the camera or, on stage, or I'm able to tell stories as well just through my words. So it's kind of like the same. It goes hand in hand, and it helps now that I'm writing movies and TV shows because I know what it is to be on the front of the camera and what's expected. So it
Mhm.
helps.
That is good. So what,
Yeah.
like growing up, you said that you loved reading. What
Hmm.
genre did you like fall in love with? Like what made
Ooh.
you love reading?
Girl, everything, everything. Like I said, I was young reading like big, thick novels. Like language arts and English has always been my favorite. So of course, I was drawn to some of the classic literary works like How to Kill a Mockingbird and Watership Down and Animal Farm and that stuff because it was required. But I still enjoyed it. I probably was one of the few that actually enjoyed it. But aside from education wise, personally, I was drawn to like Kimber Lawson Roby and Nora Roberts and Victoria Christopher Murray and just, Rashonda Tate Billingsley and just all these different authors, Omar Tyree, Carl Weber, like Eric Jerome Dickey. Like I was just soaking it all up. Maybe a little bit of Zane, kind of sneak a little bit of Zane every now and then. She was more erotica, so had to kind of sneak that every now and then. But
Mhm.
I don't know, it was just something about just these stories. And so I started out, and I like to read a good bit as far as genres go. I love thrillers. I love
Okay.
thriller. I love a good thriller or a good mystery. That's and not so much like crime where it's like a detective situation, but just regular everyday people, put in these thrilling elements and mystery.
Mhm.
Have to kind of figure out what's going on. I also love romance. I love a good romantic story as well. Um, I've not so much into not quite as much into fantasy and that element. But I do like to watch those type of movies and things like that.
Mhm.
As far as reading, like I said, I stick to mainly romance, thrillers, yeah, mysteries, that kind of thing. That's my jam.
Yeah. So are those the type of stories that you like to write? Like
Yes.
what's your okay, so tell
Yeah,
us a little bit about your books and your works.
yes, definitely. So those are the type of stories I like to write. When I published my first book, it was called Heartbreaker. This was in 2014. 2014, I believe. And it was a thriller, it was romance, and it had some elements of erotic in it. It was a little bit spicier because my publisher at the time suggested, she was like, hey, this is what's selling. This is good. This will create a lot of engagement, conversation starters. The audience will love it. I was like, okay. So I did kind of ante it up with the erotic a little bit more than I probably would have preferred because, I had
Mhm.
kind of gotten away from that even just with reading. But I published those two books, Heartbreaker and the sequel, Heartbreaker 2, in 2014 and 15. And then I was picked up by my publisher, Kensington Defina Books, and they signed me on for a 3-book deal. And I actually started publishing more. I guess you could call it domestic suspense and thrillers. Still in that same vein. Like I said, I'm always going to hit some thrilling elements. Definitely. It's going to be thrill for sure. And like a little bit of a mystery and what's going on, that kind of stuff. But the domestic suspense side, because I focused a lot on relationships and in particular, the unconventional romance in relationships. Prime example, my first 3-book deal, that was the Unconditional series. It was called The Wives We Play, and then the sequels, and because there was a whole little trilogy there. But that was about a woman who was invited into a poly relationship with a man and his love partners. And
Mm.
once you get in there, you realize that, hey, there's a lot more going on here in this relationship. And with so many players involved, if you will, in the relationship, it's hard to tell who's pulling the strings and who has the best intentions, who has ulterior motives. And the tagline for that book is every wife has a purpose if she lasts long enough. You see, so
Mm.
yeah, so it kind of went down that dynamic. My recent book, one of my more recent books, which I'm very, very proud of, is Behind Her Lives. This is a pure psychological thriller, not so much romance, but a psychological thriller all day long. And then the next one after that, In Their Shadows, which was just released last October, is also a psychological thriller.
Okay. So
Um,
oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
I
Go
was
ahead.
about to ask, so like are your books kind of like intertwined together?
They can be. You know what? My books are kind of, they're kind of, I guess, I'm not going to even say clustered. That's not really the right word, but they're all kind of a part of the same universe. That's a good way to
Okay,
say that.
I get
Kind of
you.
like Marvel, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like or like 50 Cent's Power universe. It's
yeah,
all,
yeah.
and so what I love, and true Briana Cole readers can recognize that you may see some of your favorite characters kind of peppered throughout
Mhm,
other books, and they love that.
mhm.
So that's pretty awesome to do that. So I just kind of slowly do a little bit of world building, and they're all, like I said, in the same universe, but you don't have to necessarily read them in order or anything like that.
Right.
They stand on their own, but they flow together really, really nice, and it does help. So
Okay. So have you, since you're like a screenwriter, right?
mm-hmm.
Have you made any of your books into film, or like how did you get into the film industry?
Ooh, girl. We're going to start by absolutely telling, because I am so excited about this and I have been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. But yes,
Okay.
one of my books called The Marriage Pass.
Ooh,
Actually, yes, it actually just released as a Tubi original last Friday, the 20th. So it is on,
congratulations.
yes, girl, and it is, I'm telling you, you say scandal, thrill, murder, like it's just off. When I say off the chain, and I don't even
Mhm.
mean because I wrote it, I mean because, well, the audience says so. Like, it's got some great reviews, and it's changing the narrative of what people expect from a Tubi movie. I know we have preconceived notions
Mhm,
about movies that may be on Tubi, or what have you. Maybe, some of them may be somewhat less than what we expect in a good quality movie. You won't get that here. Like, this is the cinematography, the actors, the like I said, the quality, the story, everything is just like mwah, chef's kiss, and
mhm,
it's just really, really awesome. So I'm so excited that it's so well received, because this is a fun book to write. And I actually adapted the script. So I had the book. It was published originally in 2016. And
mhm,
then it was republished in 2021 when I got with my publisher, my new publisher. And so when it came out, my literary agent at the time, she was the one that told me, she was like, yeah, that is going to be a great movie. So
mhm.
you should totally write the script for that. And I was like, okay. So I wrote the script, and there's a lot of different things that are not in the book that's in the
In the
movie,
movie.
because I just had a lot of fun with it. So
Mhm.
it is on Tubi as a Tubi original. It's already up there. It's most popular. So that's
Okay.
great. But I kind of got into screenwriting because, actually, at the request of my agent, my literary agent at the time, she was the one that started to push me in that direction, because she wanted to move into more of the film space and
Mhm,
producing movies. So back in 2018, when I published my first book with that new publisher, The Wise We Play, she suggested, she was like, hey, why don't we do a book trailer, like, and actually film a book trailer. And I was like, as a marketing thing. And I was like, okay, sure, yeah. I had never written a script before in my life. I was like,
mhm.
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I just opened me a little Word document and just went with it. I didn't know.
Mhm,
And she kind of helped me massage it, put it to play. We recorded this book trailer. It was really, really good. And she was the one that kind of started giving me opportunities, like, hey, would you like to help me adapt one of my books into, meaning her, she's also an author as
mhm.
well. Would she, she asked me would I want to help her adapt one of her books for film, and because she was going to produce it, put the money behind it, put it out there. And I was like, okay. And then it was all over from then. I started like reading scripts and just diving into it. I purchased some screenwriting software. And
Mhm.
yeah, from there, I just was like, oh, this is great. Because I was just plugging away. I
Yeah,
love watching it, come to play. And it's still allowing me to do that creative writing, but just another side for a different
yeah.
medium. Yeah. So
So
that's how that happened.
is it harder to like write for a movie than it is a book? Because I know that has to take two different, you know,
I
creative
don't,
paths.
I actually don't think, for me, and it may be for some, for me, no. For me, no. As long as I do my prep work with, like, writing my outline and kind of getting my thoughts organized and stuff like that. If I'm adapting a book, which I've done for not just myself, for a number of authors, if
Mhm,
I'm adapting their books, I'm reading their book and I'm going through trying to pick and choose, the scenes that need to be in the movie. Because, as you know, you've read a lot of books and watched the associated movie, and you may realize, hey, that didn't happen, or that wasn't said like that, or that character wasn't there, or that, things are different. So it's kind of up to you to use that creativity to kind of get it down to the bare bones and flesh it out for the medium. Because again, how it would be in the book, I may have take pages to describe something. Well, pictures are worth 1,000 words, just like with a movie. So where it may take me a couple of pages to describe a setting or something, or a character, or whatever dynamic I'm trying to portray through the literary form, on the screen, I can do that in 2 seconds. So for
Mhm.
me, where it may take me like 6 months, maybe between 6 and 8 months to write a book, I can finish a movie in like 2, 3 weeks or
Oh,
less.
wow.
I like that first draft. Now, of
Yeah.
course, you're gonna have to revise and get it
Mhm.
perfect and polished, but I can have a completed draft in like 2, 3 weeks tops. So especially if I'm really into the story,
Yeah.
it's just flowing really good because I'm seeing those characters in my head. I'm playing it out. I'm closing my eyes, envisioning, and I'm just kind of basically typing what I see,
Mhm.
like getting it out there, because I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's gonna be great when they're gonna see the knife that she has. They're gonna see, when they get into that fight. Oh yeah, and she's gonna be like, ooh, who you think you're talking to, and just
Mhm.
really coming to life. It's
Yes.
there, so it's fun.
So how do you maintain your creativity as a writer, as an author, as an actress? How do you maintain that in your mind?
I think I don't know. I think we all have a little bit of creativity, some maybe more than others, but it's just a matter of channeling that and
Mhm.
focusing on it. And as far as me maintaining, my life is one big one big story, if you will. Like the things that go on with, everybody has their thing, but for me, between my relationship with my man, my kids, my family, and just things that just go on in everyday life, it's just it'll just kind of be like, hey, that may make a good story. I may kind of put a little note. And my mom will tell you, I used to actually walk around back in the day. I used to actually walk around with a notebook, like a little spiral notebook. And I would walk, like I said, I was like 10, 11,
Mhm.
12 years old. I'm walking around with a notebook that I kept on me, because if I kind of got an idea, or if it was something I saw or something somebody said, I would be like,
I'm taking that.
like, that is
Mhm.
good. And my mom
Yeah.
used to hate that because she was like, I can't say nothing around you. You're going to put it in a story. I'm like, that's what happens. So it's the same kind of thing. And you can get, maintaining that creativity, of course, through, I'm still a reader all day long. Of course, I'm
Mhm.
busy with my projects and things, but I definitely still try to make time to do leisure reading, watching TV, again, of course, watching movies and listening to others that I look up to, like Jordan Peele, Issa Rae, Quentin Brunson, Tyler Perry. I'm watching them and their journeys, and kind of just seeing and channeling, okay, they are at those levels I aspire to be, and kind of
Mhm.
setting those building blocks in place so I can achieve those things as well, for me. So yeah, just channeling it every day, really kind of.
Mhm.
And again, some stuff just comes to you, you could be
Yeah.
asleep and you like, whoa, what? Let me, what was
Yeah.
that dream again? So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's fun. That's the fun side, the creating.
Yeah. So how do you, I guess, like, what am I trying to say? How do you take care of your well-being and your like mental capacity? Like if you're
Mm.
ever just like running on low, or if you're doing too much, like how do you take care of yourself as a creative?
Ooh, Brie, I love that question. I say that because I am a huge, 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 huge advocate for mental health. Um, Back in 2021, no, was it 2021? My gosh. Yes, it was 2021. I lost my baby sister. I lost my baby
Mhm.
sister suddenly and tragically. She was 28 years old. And that I'd already grappled with postpartum depression, after
Mhm.
having my son, my youngest son. So after that, because me and my sister were very, very close. We're like 5 years and some change apart, but we were very, very close. So having that like ripped out from under me and my family, and just kind of having to deal with that, it definitely had me spiral into,
Mhm.
an even more dramatic depressive state for sure.
Mhm.
I had to get counseling and, really kind of take a step back to realize kind of what you're saying. Like, I can't be so on the go so much that I let life pass me by, if you will. I'm not
Mhm.
stopping to smell the roses, because, if I could change things with, with her, of course, it's like, well, if I knew the last time I saw her would be the last time, you would do things a little different. You would say things, you would say other things. And again, we didn't end on any bad terms, but it's always that, man, you thought you had more time. So
Yeah.
now, especially, like, I used that grief and I channeled it into my book Behind Her Lives, which is, again, all
Mhm.
my books are fiction, but they have a lot of nonfiction elements in it, because I'm taking stuff from my real world, my experiences, stuff and people around me. And one thing about me that you will read in here is definitely the grief. Oh my gosh, it's raw,
Mhm.
it's authentic, it is there, because I basically was bleeding onto the page. I had to have that outlet to get it all, and to get it out. And
Mhm.
for me, my creativity and my projects are almost therapeutic for me.
Mhm.
So I try to keep that in mind when I'm feeling at my lowest. Like, sometimes you just need that outlet, and to get it out, and to do what you need to do. But other things that I've had to do as well. Like I said, I've had to take a step out. I've had to have counseling and therapy. Definitely a huge advocate for it. It helps. Traveling. I love to travel. Love, love, love
Mhm.
to travel. And like for my birthday last May, I had been on the go, so busy, so busy. Like what you're saying, running on fumes. And my
Mhm.
boyfriend was like, "Well, what do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "To get away, to get away."
Mhm.
I was like, "I just
Yes.
need a few days where I'm not, mommy mode. I'm not girlfriend mode. I'm not daughter mode. I'm not nothing other than
Mhm.
me. And I can just take time to pour into myself, because you can't pour from an empty cup."
Right.
So he watched the kids, and I took off for like 4 days and went to Aruba by myself.
Ooh.
I went to amazing. Can't wait to go back.
Yes.
Like, they call it one happy island for a reason. It was
Right.
amazing. And I didn't have no plans, if you will, other than just to lay on the beach, have some drinks, and just relax.
Relax.
Like, just
Mhm.
relax. And it's just, and sometimes you have to do that. Just take that time for yourself. I'm not saying travel. For me, it's traveling, because I love to travel. But for others, it may be, I don't know, going on a walk or getting a pedicure or whatever that is, that just kind of makes you feel like, getting back to yourself. And like you said, just kind of stopping to make sure you don't forget about yourself, because I do that often. So, and I
Yeah.
thankfully have such a great support system, that they know me, and they know
Mhm.
how I get, and they know that Brianna's kind of at that full level, which she gonna have to
Mhm.
let me, like my boyfriend say, take the kids, go
Yeah.
get you something, go sit at a restaurant, eat you some dinner, just take some time just to kind of get back, because you're so busy just being everything for everybody, that you can often forget about yourself. And that
Yeah.
is my weakness. That's what I am working on. And that's something I'm trying to channel moving forward. Again, like I said, since the loss of my sister, especially, because I just want her to be proud of me. I just
Mhm.
want to, she's always been my biggest cheerleader. So I do everything, and I dedicate everything for her. I just want her to be proud of me. And so I just kind of make sure I'm like, you know what? Let me just take a second, tell them, my kids, boys, give mommy a second. Let me kind of get myself together. And if it's not an emergency, I'll be right back with you. Give me like 30 minutes, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like for you. You got to take time for yourself and pour into yourself. I'm learning that. I'm learning.
Yes. It's so hard for women to take care of
Oh,
themselves
girl,
because we
what you
have that
say?
in us to where we want to take care of everyone else. And
Yes.
so even
It's
when
just
it's given to
ingrained
us,
in us.
yes,
Yes.
like even when it's given to us, we're like, "Ugh, I just don't feel right. Like something's just
Mhm.
gonna
Yes,
go
and
wrong."
if Bree, if you're anything like me, it's hard sometimes to ask for help. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's hard, because again, we are, it's kind of ingrained in us to be super women, if you will, and handle everything, and we got it, and
Mhm.
take care of ourselves, and our men, and our kids, and our
Yeah.
family, and work, and all, just handle it. I got it all. That I have to kind of, yeah, I have to kind of be told, like, Brianna, I got it. And I'm like, no, I got it. No, you sit
Yeah.
down. I got it. And I'm like, okay, this feels kind of
Right.
nice.
Right.
I can't sit down. You're right. It does, because if you didn't say nothing, I probably wouldn't say nothing either, because I'm
Yep.
just so used to being on, and just
Mhm.
having it is second nature. So
Yes.
100% with you. Oof. It's a
Yes.
struggle sometimes.
So you talk about grief and how you've coped with that. So during your journey as a author and a writer, or just being in the creative space, have you
hmm
ever dealt with like doubts or like just any negative emotions creeping in and you're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. It's too much going on. Like, is there a moment when that happened and how did you prevail through it?
All the time. Like I said, all the time. I have imposter syndrome really, really bad. I question myself all the time because you know, it's just human nature. You want to be accepted and you want, you know, for you to put your heart in your work or your business, whatever that is. For me, it's books and movies and stuff, but for others, you know, whatever creative ventures or business ventures that they may be pursuing, you want it to be received. You want people to get it. You want people to like it. You want, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's hard. And so every time I put out something new, even with the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I don't know. What am I doing? Who told me I could write a movie? Like, this is
Right.
crazy, you know? And I have to have, and that's just, you know, I suffer sometimes with anxiety. That's one of those things where I do have to have that reassurance. I do, you know, because it's like I doubt myself so much because, you know, you sometimes don't want to believe that you are good enough or your
Mhm.
work or what you do is good enough or other people are going to see it for what it is. So I struggle with that from the very first time I published my first book to now with my
Yeah.
movie trending and getting such popular reviews. I'm still like, I could have 50 great reviews and then I still may get one little negative review.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, they don't like it, you know. And I
Yeah.
have to kind of be like, you know what? You know, you have to, you know, kind of get back in that space. So prevailing for sure. Like I said, I mention my support system all the time. My boyfriend, my kids, my family, my friends, my, you know, my social media supporters and everybody that has been, you know, just pouring into me along the way and like, girl, that was it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. And sharing and like talking me up and telling their friends or telling their friends and people are buying my books and like really liking it and things like this where we have people, you know, you want me to come on podcasts and interviews to share my journey. It's just like those are confidence boosters for me. Like, you know what, I can do this. I am good enough. I can my work, everybody's not gonna like it, and that's okay. That still does not mean it's not, you know, it doesn't mean it's
Good.
bad. It'll
Yeah.
find its audience. And then I got my sister on my shoulder and she's like, girl, you better. And I'm like, I got it. You're right. You better not be letting that, you know, like I say, she's always been there, you know, even when she
Mhm.
was physically here, she's always been like, you know, what's going on with the book? You've been talking about it for years. You gonna write
Mhm.
a book or not? I mean, what's going on? You know, and I'm like, you're right. I do need to get on it. So, you know, she definitely has been my little, you know, angel on my shoulder, if you will, kind of still like, girl, if you don't shut that up and
Yeah.
put that book out there and write and stop doubting yourself because you know you got support and they're not doubting you, they're loving
Yeah.
it, so just do it, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. So yeah, it's mental blocks I
Mhm.
have to get over, you know. And like I
Yeah.
said, the more and I can, and I also too, I go back and read some of my earlier stuff and see
Mhm.
some of the earlier things I've done, and I can for sure look at my own growth. That
Mhm.
helps me because I'm like looking at some of my earlier scripts. It's like, ooh, child, I just, what was
I
I
was
doing?
doing anything.
Okay. And I'm like, and y'all was liking that? Oh, y'all should have told me. But I go back and look at some of my earlier books and just my growth just from, you
Mhm.
know, let alone 10 years ago, but from last year to this year. And I'm reading some of my stuff and seeing some of my work. And I'm like, yeah, I'm growing. You may not see it
Mhm.
because you're in the thick of it, but I definitely see it like, yeah, you're plugging away, you're getting there. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep going. Yes, I love that. So are
Thank
you the
you.
type of person, like, when you put something out, do you have to, like, put your phone away and all the electronics away and say, "I'm not looking at no reviews. I'm not
Oh my
looking"
gosh. I'm the opposite. And that's probably part of my problem. I'm like, from the moment it's like it's out, I'm like, okay,
every second, like,
no,
what
right, no reviews yet. Oh, they hate it. They hate it. What about now? Oh, 1-star review. Oh, this sucks. Okay, oh, this is 5-star. Whew, she likes it.
Yep.
Oh, good. Yes, girl.
Mhm.
You know, so yes, I will. Like I said, since this movie came out, I try my best to get out of that, you know, because I know it does nothing to help, if you will, especially because I'm constantly like, you know, on pins and needles, wondering what people are saying. I
Yes.
do have to kind of get in that frame of mind, and like my boyfriend has to like Brianna, stop. Like,
Yep.
just, just move on. And I find that it's helped a lot recently because I keep myself busy. Like, so now sometimes I don't even have time to read some of the reviews or to see what's going on, because meanwhile I have other projects that I'm working on, and people are tagging me and telling me, hey Brianna, I saw, hey Brianna, I read. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So that has since helped as well. Like I said, be staying busy, because there's always something I could be doing. If I'm between projects, maybe I don't have a script that I'm doing for somebody. Maybe, or I'm finished my own scripts, or I've done my outline, or whatever I'm working on. I could be, reading some more scripts. I could be looking at some of these master classes. I could be, just again, taking some workshops and just doing research. It's always something I could be doing to kind of continue growing and perfecting my craft. So I try to focus on that. And then if I'm not doing that, I try to focus on the things that, I enjoy. Like I said, reading. My kids keep me busy enough. So it's like, all I got to do is just, hey kids, let's go. And they all over it. And it's like, okay, well, I know I'm going to be occupied for the next few hours. So yeah, I have a lot to keep me busy, thankfully. But if I do allow my mind to kind of idle, I will get into that trap and go down that rabbit hole. I will. I gotta stop it,
because I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Yes, it's not. I have to stop.
So I want to ask you kind of some rapid fire questions. This or that.
I'll try. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
I can't think about them. I just gotta just take it off the dome. Just tell you what I think.
Well, you can think about it, but
okay. All right. Let's hear them.
So, do you prefer to read or journal?
Read, definitely. I'm not much of a journaler. I've tried. I have. I mean, I did have a diary growing up, and then when my mom found it when I was like 16, that didn't work no more. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna not do that no more. So yes, I like to read, definitely.
So when you read, do you like to have a hard physical copy, or do you like to read like an ebook?
I can do both. I can do both with no problem. I love my paperbacks 100%, but I love the convenience of an ebook too, because I can have all those books right there on my phone. And I can scroll through. I don't have to carry like a bunch of books out. So if I'm reading and I'm like, I'm not feeling this, I want to come back to it, I can just scroll to something else. So I like both. That's a both question. I like both because I'll never turn down a paperback. But
okay. So when you're creating, do you type or do you handwrite?
Type. I type. I've written before. I think I've got 10 books published. I may have written one book by hand in a notebook. But other than that, I type. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you listen to music when you create, or do you like just peace and quiet?
It depends. It depends on the scenes that I'm writing, because sometimes I do need that to get in the space of whatever that music puts me in, that mood. So if I'm trying to do a heartbreak scene or something like that, or some of those grief scenes, like I mentioned, or on a lighter note, maybe it may be an intimate scene, I will put on some music to kind of be like, okay, getting in the mood so I can, relay what I'm feeling. And because I want to emit those same emotions from the reader or the viewer's standpoint. But again, those are certain scenes. For the most part, about more so 80%, it's usually peace and quiet. Or look, as quiet as it can be in this house with 3 kids. Let's just as quiet as it can be.
So do you ever like go out to write, or do you just always like stay in your little bubble at home?
I have my little bubble at home. I have gone out to write at a cafe before, or at like the bookstore. I've done that, or the library. When I went and traveled to Aruba, I did take my computer. I wasn't supposed to be, but again, remember, this is the stuff that I enjoy. I'm getting back to the fun stuff. So I wasn't working on projects, but I was writing things that for me, you know what I mean, that I enjoyed. And it was great to write on the beach. I loved it, or at restaurants, that kind of stuff. But typically, I like to write at home. I'm usually in bed. I have my laptop. So yeah, or I can also write on my phone too. I've done that. That has helped, believe it or not. Yeah. So I don't have my computer with me, but maybe I'm sitting at the doctor's office in the lobby waiting on my son or something with his braces or something. And I'm just sitting there like, do. And then I'll email it to myself and then, put it on my laptop when I get home, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So do you prefer coffee or tea?
tea. I'm
Tea.
not a coffee drinker, and I'm a sweet tea drinker all day long, like some Chick-fil-A sweet tea or some McDonald's
Oh,
sweet tea.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
let me be clear. It's not like no green tea
Not
or
the
nothing.
hot
No, it's
tea.
like no. I'm Southern, full bred Southern style sweet tea. Yeah, that's
I
what
got
I
you.
like. Yeah, but
I
like
got
hot tea, yeah, when I'm sick, I don't do coffee. I
you.
have, but I'm not a coffee drinker.
Okay. Water or wine?
Water.
Water.
Love water. I'm a social drinker. Like I'll drink if I'm
Mm,
out with my sorors or my girls or my man. It's this kind of special
yeah.
occasion situation, but I'm not really a drinker like that.
Okay. So what is one piece of advice that you would give to a fellow creative who is trying to get to where you are, who is interested in writing books, writing a movie, wanting to be an actress? What is one piece of advice that you would give them?
The piece of advice that I like to say is honestly, it's something that I learned at Georgia Southern. I mean, we've heard it before, but it resonated with me when I was in one of my marketing classes at Georgia Southern.
Mhm.
He was telling me, he was asking like, why did we think that the Nike slogan was so powerful? Why was it so impactful? Just three little words, just do it. Why did that work? And he said, because it spoke to everybody. No matter what it is, just do it. Just do it.
Mhm.
Just do what? Just do go start that lash business or be a teacher or a doctor or a writer or do hair or restaurant stuff, whatever that is, just do it. And there's nothing stopping you, as don't mess around and get in your own way and let life
Mhm.
pass you by. One of my coworkers, this is another nugget that I've recently started to adopt because I love it. Let me get the words right. She said, imperfect progress is better than perfect procrastination. That's what she said.
Ooh.
And now I don't know. Now, granted, I've never looked that up. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's something that she's taken from this literary work, Oscar
Mhm.
Wilde or somebody. I don't know. Maya Angelou. I don't know.
Right.
I just know the first time I heard it, she said that.
You said
And
it.
I was
Mhm.
like, wow, okay. So imperfect progress is better than perfect procrastination. I was like, I love that because
That's
is
amazing.
she's right. I mean, that's right. It's like, okay, it's not going to be right those first couple of times. I'm going to fall a few times, but at least I'm making progress. And that's what I even say when I go back and look at some of my old scripts and books and stuff. And it's like, well, you know what? It wasn't really that good, but I had to get the not good out of the
Yeah.
way so that I could learn and do better because otherwise I would have still been at square one.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So those are my nuggets that I would say if you are, trying to whatever that is that's in the creative industry or corporate America or, business, being an entrepreneur, whatever that is, you want to go back to school, whatever that is for you. We all have our goals that we want to do. Just do it. Just
I
do it.
love it.
Mhm.
I love that. Okay, so where can people follow you and find your work and any
Yes.
upcoming things?
Absolutely. So my website is brianacole.com. I see you're spelled with two N's, Brianna, on
Yes.
one end. So yeah, BRIANACOLE.com. You can also Google me. I've done really, really great with my SEO optimization and stuff. So when you Google Brianna Cole, my little picture comes up. I'm very proud. And you'll see my books, my social media and stuff. I'm all over. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm even on Snapchat. Like I'm everywhere because I want to be where you are. Like I feel like the Little Mermaid. I want to be where the people are. So
Yeah.
I am where you are. So again, you can find me brianacole.com. It has links to all of my social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. It's Brianna Cole Official.
Mhm.
My TikTok is Brianna Cole 3. Like I said, I'm trying to do this branding thing. And then on Twitter, it's Brie Cole Official. So, like I
Okay.
said, though, if you go to my website, briannacole.com, it has links to all of my social media. I'm very, very active, very, very responsive. I love to connect, network, and engage with other writers, readers, supporters, people who just love my work and just want to just shout me out. I love all of that. And I definitely reciprocate that love and support too. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty easy to find. Just I'm out there. I'm out there for sure.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Briana. This was such
Thank
a great
you.
interview. That's so weird saying
Listen,
my name out loud,
I
but
know, Brianna. I'm like, Brianna, I know. Well, listen, you know what's been going around I think it's the meme that says people that had talked too much on their report card, what are they doing now?
Mhm.
I had talked too much on my report card. Did I talk too much, girl? I'm just
You
trying to
were
make sure we
perfect.
good.
No, you were perfect. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed your answers, and I
Thank
actually
you.
learned a couple things too. So you were
Awesome.
wonderful.
Thank you, Bree. Did they call you Bree too?
Well,
Okay.
people call me Breezy because Bree is still a
Breezy.
common. Yeah, it's like Bree is a common
Breezy.
nickname, so I'm like, just call me Breezy. It's fine.
Breezy. Okay, I got you, Breezy. All right, cool. Well, I
But
know, but seriously,
yeah.
I thank you so much for the invite, for the opportunity. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Yes, no problem. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope
Okay.
to see you at some future events.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Have a good
Bye.
one.
You
Thank
too.
you. Bye.